space encounters? Does our future hold a vicious battle with creatures from our worst nightmares? Or a blissful journey to the very soul of the universe? Hollywood plays both sides of this cosmic mystery. Coming up, we'll meet the effects artists whose horrific alien insects provide big screen carnage for Starship Troopers. Then we'll learn the secrets behind Contact's awesome visual effects as we float through the cosmos with Jodie Foster.
This is definitely the biggest movie I've ever worked on.
We'll also find out what NASA's most experienced astronauts expect should alien contact happen for real. Get ready for a celestial adventure light years in the making as we explore the wondrous and deadly universe of movie magic.
Roll, please.
Bring it to life now. Bring it to life.
And action!
A gigantic alien insect thrashes a doomed soldier with its razor-sharp mandibles.
Go wider, man! Go wider!
On the set of Starship Troopers, hostile spider-like arachnid warriors are brought to life.
Try to get up, look higher, higher, traces above you, above you.
Directed by Paul Verhoeven, whose previous films include Total Recall and RoboCop, Starship Troopers' ghastly battles are waged with a fierce army of huge insects from deep space.
It is the dream of everybody that looks at the sky and realizes that there is something else there.
He pushes off that front leg, just pushes down to, get him coming up.
The killer insect assault is being staged by Academy Award-winning visual effects supervisor Phil Tippett.
Getting it up like that. Always thought of it as a pretty conventional World War II picture. The bad guys are, these giant pointy things that rip people in half and skewer them. Let's just run the sequence and get the whole flavor.
Tippett's team must create a military hierarchy of alien insects at their Berkeley, California studio. At the bottom is the infantry, vicious 8-foot-tall arachnid warriors. For heavy artillery assaults, there are enormous hard-shelled, chemical-spewing tanker bugs.
Shink and like that, so you just want it to go.
And, of course, every army needs a general. The aliens are led by the brain bug, so named because he sucks out the brains from his enemies. In order to bring realism to the creature's designs, Tippett's art director Craig Hayes has conducted extensive research of earthly bugs, from the biggest to the meanest.
These bugs are as much like real bugs as possible, and aside from the fact that they're giant, But, they've got the same kind of bug attributes, pointed limbs, hard shells and everything.
Long before such technology,
We're heading straight into the beam.
Hollywood filmmakers were enthralled with bringing deep space encounters to the big screen. Flash Gordon's intergalactic adventures in the 1930s helped moviegoers fantasize about the future. 4 decades later, in 1979, director Ridley Scott turned the fantasy into a nightmare in Alien. When a newborn alien burst through the chest of actor John Hurt, it shocked audiences. Star Sigourney Weaver recalls that the actors were never informed how intense the scene would be.
I remember the day we were supposed to shoot it, I walked in and the 2 writers were off to the side, sort of giggling, very excited like kids at Christmas.
The startling effect was achieved by concealing Hurt's body through an opening in the table. A fake torso designed to explode in blood and guts was placed on top.
We had no rehearsal. This thing jumps out of John Hurt's chest and we all go, you know, and there it goes. And it happened so fast, and we were all so astonished.
These movies keep us asking, is there really life out there? According to astronaut Story Musgrave, commander of 6 NASA shuttle missions, the answer is a resounding yes.
Scientifically and intuitively, there's billions of intelligent civilizations in every kind of life form.
While traveling in orbit, Musgrave occasionally ponders what life may exist and silently sends out a message to it.
I have only a chance of 1 trillion trillionths, but it's fun. And so I say, here I am. I acknowledge that you're there, and come get me.
Musgrave might reconsider the invitation if the life forms are anything like those in Starship Troopers. The film's scurrying army of bloodthirsty creatures is mostly depicted by computer animation.
Bring this up, and then when his head starts coming up, you know, he's doing, it goes down and then it goes up.
But certain scenes require full-size replicas of the aliens.
Action.
These giant invaders are built by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. of Amalgamated Dynamics Incorporated, or ADI.
My most favorite thing personally has just been taking something that looks great in a computer realm and being able to match that on set.
I mean, it may sound silly to say, but we don't want a big rubber monster look out of it.
Right.
One of the things that we're always striving for is life. It sounds obvious, but it's a very difficult thing to capture.
And action.
This never-before-seen video shows one of ADI's earliest tests of an arachnid warrior attack, using one of their own crew members as the victim.
Okay, I'm not seeing much out of the jaws or the head.
Made from fiberglass, the 8-foot-tall warrior's thrusting body, snapping jaws, and gouging attack claws are powered by hydraulics.
As far as you did. Down and head down and up.
On set, in a desolate part of Wyoming called Hell's Half Acre, ADI's bugs are used for close-up shots in some of the film's goriest and most exciting scenes. Starship Troopers illustrates how Hollywood capitalizes on our phobias, expanding on the real war between man and insect right here on Earth. According to entomology professor Frank Hovor, while the bugs are smaller, they might be winning.
And they don't even know they're in the war. If you think about the amount of time and energy and money that has been spent over the centuries combating everything from locust plagues, which we still have, to ants, which we still have, to flies, which we still have, to fleas, which we still have. If we were in truth winning the war, then they wouldn't be there.
One bug that poses a dangerous threat to people is the Titanus beetle. Native to the rainforests in French Guiana, it can grow to 10 inches.
Their jaws are certainly powerful enough to chew through a small child's finger.
And if these bugs were the size of those in Starship Troopers?
It would take something like a cannon, a howitzer with armor-piercing shells to do any damage to it at all.
In Starship Troopers, this scenario is played out in all its bloody glory. And creating the carnage is the job of makeup and animatronic effects expert Kevin Yeager.
You'll see people pinched in half with giant pinchers. You'll see people decapitated. You'll see people just gouged and speared with different bug parts.
Months before shooting, Yeager's Hollywood studio takes on the eerie feel of a haunted wax museum. His staff is immersed in the macabre chore of producing dozens of grotesquely maimed bodies.
Well, we did a lot of these bodies to look like, sort of like crew members that are building this. Does it look like me?
For some of the most violent attack scenes, Yeager fits amputee stuntmen with fast-release prosthetics.
It works sweet. It's given a lot of us amputees or disabled people a lot of work, you know, and it's a great effect, and there's a lot of us who can do the work.
The claw will come like this, cut this off, and take the arm right with it. Good.
The vast galaxy of visual effects found in Starship Troopers cause terrified moviegoers to squirm in their seats, witnesses to Hollywood's depiction of a nightmarish deep space encounter. Coming up, we'll join Jodie Foster on her amazing odyssey in Contact.
Then, kind of slowly approach here.
On the set of Contact, 2 Academy Award winners, director Robert Zemeckis and star Jodie Foster, prepare for an unforgettable attempt to encounter alien life forms. 2 decades earlier, there was another famous attempt to make contact. August 20th, 1977.
A billion years from now, the Earth will have changed so dramatically. So forget about the pyramids, the Mona Lisa. They will very likely be long gone. And still, the Voyager record will be moving at a speed of 40,000 miles an hour to an ultimate fate of which we can only dream.
Such dreams helped Carl Sagan mesmerize readers of his international best-selling novel, Contact.
It always happens in the history of science that as your perspective broadens, you learn more about what you left at home as well as what you went out to seek.
Sadly, Carl Sagan died only months before the release of the film, Contact.
And to mankind.
Now, as you can see, buried within the message itself is the key to decoding it.
In preparation for her role as scientist Ellie Arroway, star Jodie Foster looked to Sagan's example.
He takes the genuine intellectual experience and lifts it up and says, isn't this great? Don't you feel wonderful?
To bring Sagan's Deep Space Odyssey to the screen, Zemeckis relies on 5-time Academy Award-winning visual effects supervisor Ken Ralston and his team at Sony Pictures Imageworks.
The scope of it was huge. The imagery that we all came up with and the concepts that are in the movie are also very complicated. A lot of it was designed more about a spiritual journey than anything else.
For Foster, the journey begins on a soundstage where an alien-designed space travel machine awaits her. The massive structure is generated through computer graphics.
What it is and how it works, we're not sure, but we had a lot of discussions about it. We wanted to have something that was elegant, not complicated, possibly something that had a simple atom design to it, just the 3 circles.
Making the machine and its enormous free-floating rings look and move believably is the biggest challenge for computer graphics supervisor Jerome Chen.
So these things are 800, 900 feet in diameter, yet they're whipping around at 10, 20 times the speed of sound. We threw all physics out at that point because, well, our rationale was they're alien, so it doesn't really matter how they move as long as it looked cool.
Ellie's journey takes her to a mystical beach. For the Sony team, the pivotal scene requires the creation of a virtual environment.
Somewhere in here,
Well, it helps when there's 1 foot there, say.
We had to design the whole sequence not to lock in on any one specific idea and leave it open and magical at the same time. I mean, if you're watching closely in the beach, water is flowing backwards. The sand on the beach in many of the shots has a very subtle rose color, which is unconditional love.
The dreamy effects generated by Ralston and his team embody the primary point Carl Sagan and Ann Druyan wanted to make with Contact.
I think it most of all conveys something of the great joy and romance of the scientific enterprise. That it captures something of what it's like to have that kind of implacable curiosity which takes you through your life and all the way out into the center of the galaxy.
If science fiction is a precursor to science fact, the creators of Contact have presented us with a hopeful glimpse at our cosmic futures. Next, witness the creation of the universe, thanks to Contact's breathtaking visual effects. If Starship Troopers' depiction of a deep space encounter ever comes true, blood banks will be overdrawn. At the center of the movie's gory chaos is makeup effects expert Kevin Yeager.
reality is thrown out the door, and yeah, it's all for drama. So more the blood, the merrier, and bigger explosions of blood, always better than less blood.
In addition to soaking the set in more than 300 gallons of fake blood, Yeager and his staff ply their trade with a variety of gory illusions.
When you have a spike through your leg, you're losing blood, you're about to get your brain sucked out. On a day's work, though. Action and go!
In one of the film's most intense moments, two troopers are skewered by the razor-sharp mandibles of an arachnid warrior.
That's cool.
The gruesome scene is made possible by giant prosthetic limbs that are fastened to thick padding inside the actors' costumes. Fake blood and slits cut into the floor of the set create the illusion of the claw pinning the trapped victims to the ground.
Look at the brain bug. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No matter how gruesome Hollywood's depictions of deep space encounters are, humanity's enthusiasm to make contact has never waned. The questions on everyone's mind? Is there life out there? And if there is, what does it look like? If anyone has an idea, Ken Ralston does. His credits include such alien epics as the Star Wars trilogy, Cocoon, and Star Trek III. We asked him to show us what to expect. He drew us this Movie Magic exclusive.
Largish eyes, better to see earthlings with. Large ears, the better to hear unsuspecting human characters on this planet. Sharp teeth for devouring nice juicy humans. But of course all it is a head, and it crawls around on these little legs. Here, see?
Famed astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who walked on the moon with Neil Armstrong, has his own ideas about the potential for extraterrestrial life.
It seems a very improbable thing to think that this galaxy and this solar system would be the only place where the conditions would evolve to produce life as we know it.
While Aldrin is one of the few to ever venture out into our galaxy, movies have given us all a chance. The spectacular opening shot of Contact, generated entirely through digital technology, offers a wondrous view of what lies beyond our planet. Sequence supervisor Jay Red, along with a 10-person staff, toiled over the 3.5-minute long shot for more than 6 months at Sony Pictures Imageworks.
Being able to fly through space, I've always wanted to do that, and this was kind of my personal way of doing that through this shot.
In preparation for the sequence, Red studied real space images captured by the Hubble telescope. He and his team then replicated them in amazing detail. First, wireframes of planets, asteroids, and other celestial bodies are generated to map out the sequence. Producing gaseous stellar bodies, such as the Eagle Nebula, require software capable of generating millions of tiny particles. Each particle is then digitally textured and painted. For Ken Ralston, the sequence held an even deeper meaning, a celestial tribute to Carl Sagan.
It's Carl really saying, you know, the countless billions and billions of galaxies in the cosmic soup. I mean, I can still remember him saying that on Cosmos years ago. And so when you see all those galaxies blasting by you, each galaxy could have life in it.
And is it possible that on at least one of those billions of planets, a deep space encounter awaits us? The movies have always believed so, and the worlds depicted in Contact and Starship Troopers symbolize the full range of possibilities that may someday greet us. Which scenario will most closely resemble the truth may not be known for eons. Or perhaps the answer will arrive before dawn. For now, we can only ponder. But thanks to the extraordinary talents of Hollywood's visual effects artists, our extraterrestrial visions will be forever colored by their amazing use of movie magic.